Hello and welcome. I decided to make another video of the ever popular trinomial that I have factored using some call it factor by grouping, turning it into factor by grouping, the AC method. Anyway, it's my top video, but I wanted to give another version of factoring the same trinomial. So let's just jump right in, and that will be this. We're going to use a method called bottoms up, and I've resisted teaching bottoms up in my classes for several years because the logic of why it works is not real obvious, and it even does some things that are actually look like they're not even legal in math. So anyway, I'm going to call those things the illegal things, and we're going to talk some crazy math stuff. But let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that we're going to do to factor this trinomial. Now remember, factor means to turn it into something times something. And as you can see right here, well, if my pen will work, well, it didn't. Hold on. Okay, battery working. All right, had to change out my digitizer. Okay, so when we're asked to factor something, we're turning it into something times something, and maybe something times something times something. And as you can see on this trinomial, it's not something times something, it's something plus something plus something. So it is not factored. So we're going to use this method called the bottoms up. Now I'm going to color code this. I'm going to give you a step in a particular color. And then I'm going to do that step in that color. So when you're finished, you can go back through and look and see what the steps, the steps entailed, things like that. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to multiply the leading coefficient, pardon me, efficient by the constant. Now, what in the world are those? The leading coefficient is the 2 here, and the constant is the 15. My cat is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. The leading coefficient is 2. Now, that is the number in front of the variable, right? The leading term, though, the one that's at the beginning. So the leading coefficient times the constant. Leading coefficient times the constant. Constant is the one that doesn't have a variable in its term. So here we go. 2 times 15 is 30. And now we've done that. And so the second step is going to be replacing the constant with this new product. Product is the answer after we've multiplied, right? So here we go. Now the front coefficient is now gone. So now we have this. And now it's a new trinomial. This trinomial, let me make it clear, this blue trinomial is not equal to the original trinomial. And so that's where some math professors and things might just hit the roof. It's not equal. We're going to do some things to it, and we're going to bring it back so that it is equal to the beginning trinomial. So it really will be the original trinomial factored. Okay, so this is not equal. We're going to do some crazy stuff for just a few minutes here, and then we'll get it back to the equal state. All right, so now we've replaced the constant with the new product. Okay, so now because the trinomial doesn't have a leading coefficient greater than 1, okay, it doesn't have one. The leading coefficient is a 1, right? So because it's a 1, then we're going to just factor this the easy way. Now, I call this the easy way because we just go straight into the 2 parentheses, because this is going to be this thing that we can FOIL, you know, if you're familiar with the FOIL method or the box method. So here we go. So we're going to factor the easy way. Okay? Factor the easy way. Well, that means this. we're just going to take the x squared and we're going to break it up into x times x. That becomes x squared. We're going to take the 30 and we're going to factor it. Actually, I'm probably going to back up just a bit. I'm going to go ahead and look at the last last operation, excuse me, and I'm going to see that it's a plus. If there's a plus in the last operation, you're going to look at the front operation. If there's a plus on the last, you look at the front, and whatever is there, goes in both spots. Okay? All right, now we're going to factor 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. Now you want to go through and write all of the pairs of factors, okay, that produce the product of 30. You don't want to try to do that in your head. Well, you might, but I don't like to. I don't like to do two things in my head. I like to focus on one thing. It eliminates as many mistakes as I would have. So here we go. So now what I'm looking for, because the signs are matching, is I'm always, when the signs match in my factored form, I'm always going to be adding, okay? When I do the FOIL, the outers and inners become added together, not subtracted. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to look for two factors that add, okay, adding to 13. Now, look carefully because 2 and 15 subtract, but we're looking to add, okay? So a 3 and the 10, so there's my 3, and there's my 10. Now, if I FOIL this green step, it is not going to go back to the very original trinomial, so it's not equal yet. So let's go on to the fourth step. So step 4 is we're now going to do the step that is the namesake, the bottoms up, close to the bottoms up step. Okay, we're going to do that step that involves that. Okay, so we multiplied in the red step, we multiplied the 2 at the beginning times the 15. So now we're going to go back and undo the multiply. So we're going to divide by 2 on the constants that are at the end. So we're going to divide the numbers that ended up at the ends of the parentheses, and we're going to divide them by 2. Okay, so divide by the original leading term, leading coefficient. Divide back by the original leading coefficient. So I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, so now the next step, step 5, is I simplify. Now this is a step that I've seen students skip. You can't. You have to simplify the fractions that are resulting. Now that doesn't mean make a mixed number. It means simplify them, which is this. 3 over 2, this one here, is simplified. I can't divide 3 and 2 by some same factor, so it's simplified. However, the 10 over 2 simplifies to 5 over 1, which is 5. I have to actually reduce that down to its integer form. I don't want to leave a fraction 5 over 1. It's not best. So reduce that all the way down and write it in its simplest form. So we're simplifying the fractions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab myself another color here so that I can write step 6. Okay, so step 6 is the actual namesake. So 5 and 6 are kind of go together to give us the name of it bottoms up. So step 6 is we're going to take the bottoms, anywhere that we have a bottom, in other words, the denominator, bring the bottom or bottoms up. And that's the name of the factoring method. So if you don't end up doing that, you're not finished. So if we look at this right here, the 2 is at the bottom. So we're going to bring it up. Let me show you what that means. That means we're going to bring it and put it back at the front, inside the parentheses, but in front of the x. So look what this does. This goes 2x plus 3. And now there's not a bottom on the 5. If there was, we could have a 1 maybe, but we bring it up. But there's not one. So I'm just going to write what I have there. Now, let's take a look at the factored form, and you see that this is factored. It's something times something. That means it's factored. Now, we're also got to make sure that when we multiply it back together, it goes back to the very beginning. So let's take a look. If I FOIL this, some people like the FOIL, some people like the box method, but I'm going to FOIL it. 2x times x is 2x squared. First outers plus 10x, inners plus 3x, and lasts plus 15. When I simplify, I have the original trinomial, and that is how I know that I'm correct. So this right here is the factored form. So the orange is the final factored form. So if you want to take a look at my other video and compare this one to that one, the other video is called Factoring when a is with a greater than 1. So thanks for watching.